This is Alexandra Villarroel Abrego and welcome to another episode of AlexandraTV. This week's episode is about how to stop thinking about someone and finally move on. Now, I know that we've all been there. We've all been through that. I know I have in the past. I know I have a few times said things like, oh, I can't stop thinking about this person. I can't move on, which is absolutely not true. It's not true. It's not real. It's not factual to say that you can't stop thinking about someone, because you actually can. This is the thing, as a life coach, and I've studied this field, the human mind and how it operates and everything. And the truth, the reality is that you can stop thinking about someone if you choose to stop thinking about someone. But in moments, right after a breakup, or right after you get cheated on, or right after whether the person ends the relationship or you do, or whatever, or you miss someone, well, maybe it's a little more difficult because you actually make the conscious choice of thinking about that person, but you don't know that, right? But you make that conscious choice because you're focusing all of your energy and thoughts on what happens. So what happened with that person in the past, because the present moment, that person is no longer there, right? So when you say things like, I can't stop thinking about someone, or I can't stop thinking about my ex or my girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, it's not true. You actually can. So in this week's episode, I'm going to share with you what are 4 things that you can start doing to help you stop thinking about that person and to move on, of course. So let's begin. The first thing that I want you to do is I want you to understand that everything is perfect as it is. Your life right now, this present moment, is perfect. Now, I know you might be saying things like, no, it's not perfect because I miss him or I miss her and he should be there or she should be here with me. But in reality, everything is perfect as it is. The past no longer exists. It's just an illusion. It's in your mind. It's your imagination at this point. And the future, of course, is no longer here. But this present moment is perfect as it is. And I am convinced, if you think of past relationships that you had, I'm pretty sure that you had that same reaction after the relationship ended. You were saying things like, I can't move on. He's the love of my life, or she's the love of my life. I have to have them back, or I miss her, I miss him. But today you understand that that past relationship had to end because it had to end. It's the way that it had to happen. And as I look back on my past and on my life, I see that everything happened in the most perfect and magnificent way. And once you understand that, once you are right now, of course, you're in the middle of your sorrow, of the heartbreak. But if you really sit down and look ahead in like 10 years, I want you to really realize that this moment is perfect as it is. You are going through what you're going through because you are being molded into the person that you're supposed to become. You would never be able to become the person that you're meant to be in the future if you wouldn't have to go through difficult and challenging situations. No human will be able to achieve his greatest version of themselves if they don't go through challenges, through trials, through tests in life. That's what makes you, right? So I want you to understand that this is, yes, a difficult situation, but it's perfect. And it's exactly what you need at this moment in time in your life. The second advice that I have for you if you want to stop thinking about someone and move on, and this is a very popular one, is to just be busy. But when people tell you to be busy after a breakup or something like that, it doesn't mean that you should go out every night and go out and drink with your friends, because in actuality, that's not the good thing to do, because what's going to happen is that you're going to be seeing people at their worst. So if you're out at 3 a.m. on a Friday night in a bar, then you're not seeing people be the best version of themselves. So what you're going to do is that you're going to start thinking that this person, your ex, is the best thing that could ever happen to you, and you're never going to meet someone like him or like her because you're seeing people at their worst. So what I want you to do instead is I want you to go out and do things that you are passionate about. Maybe if you like to dance, well, take dancing classes. If you like to sing, take singing classes. You can go and start jogging, let's say every morning at 7 a.m. I want you to start doing and exploring new activities that maybe for a long time you've liked and you've been passionate about, but because you were in a relationship, well, you weren't able to have the time to do them, right? So I really want you to use this time as a time of growth and of learning new aspects of yourself that you didn't know. So being busy, of course, is going to keep your thoughts and your focus on something else and not on this other person. My third advice, and I've talked a lot about this one in other videos, is to forgive yourself and forgive the other person. And I know that at this moment, perhaps it's a little difficult because you're thinking, especially if the relationship ended in bad terms. So if, let's say, the other person cheated on you or lied or whatever, you're thinking that it's impossible for you to forgive this other person. But once again, I go back to my first advice. Everything is perfect. Everything is perfect as it is right now in your life. Again, as I look back in my life and in past relationships, I see how, let's say, one of the relationships that I had in my early 20s, I remember when it ended in a very bad note, and it was a lot of lying and cheating involved. And as I look back on that today, I realized that if he hadn't had done that in the past, at that time of a relationship, and the relationship wouldn't have ended because of that, perhaps I would still be with him. And if I would still be with him, my life would not be what it is today. I know that for a fact. I wouldn't be in the position that I am today, and I wouldn't have done all the things that I've done, and I wouldn't be who I am today. So I realized today how that time, which was so difficult, so heartbreaking, it was perfect. It was exactly what was supposed to happen in my life at that time to be catapulted to this life that I have today, to greatness, really. So I realized today that everything happens perfectly. And today, I can say that I forgive completely that person, and I have nothing but love for that person because he was part of this magnificent play, if I can say it like that, of this orchestration of the life that I have today. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for the things that he did because that helped me to be where I am today. So I want you to forgive the other person and forgive yourself because everything is happening in the most magnificent way at this moment. You might not understand it today, but you will in the future. And finally, my fourth advice is to love even more. Love every day. The big mistake that a lot of people make when it comes to that, that they say love heals all, and it's true, but it doesn't mean that right after a relationship you should jump into another relationship. That's the worst thing that you can do because you're not giving yourself time to heal, time to forgive the other person, to forgive yourself, to understand the lessons that needed to be learned from that situation. Therefore, when you get into another relationship, then you're just there to, again, learn the lessons that you didn't learn in your past relationship, right? So I want you to take the time to be alone for a while, but while you do that, love. It doesn't mean that because you're not with someone that you can't love. You can love others, your family, your friends. You can love yourself. You can love your life. I just want you to create that energy of love in your life because it's true. Love heals all. So I hope that this video will help you stop thinking about someone and finally move on. Once again, I know I'm repeating myself, but it's true. Everything is perfect as it is. And you might be going through this, and at this point, at this moment in your life, it might look like it's the end of the world, like you're never going to be the same, like you're never going to be okay, but you will be, and it's all part of this incredible adventure that is called life. In the comment section down below, let me know what are your tricks, tips, advice that you have for other people to move on, to stop thinking about someone. I'm sure it can help other people who are watching, and that's it for this week. I will see you next week. Did you like this video? If so, here's 3 very simple things that I want you to do. First of all, subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel because you get free videos every single week. So of course you don't want to miss that. The second thing that I want you to do is I want you to go on my website, AlexandraVillarroel.com, and subscribe also to my email list because every week I send you content by email that you don't see here on AlexandraTV, but it's free content with coaching techniques, strategies, so you don't want to miss that either. And the third thing that I want you to do is I want you to share this video. Share it on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, email it to a friend, or even call a friend and say you need to go watch this. As Maya Angelou once said, when you learn, teach. So everything that you learned today, make sure you share it and you teach it to someone. I look forward to seeing you next week for another episode of Alexandra TV. And until then, don't forget to love life, others, and yourself.